So there's a couple billion people from Europe that ain't there no more. Where they put them, I don't know, because I don't know what they did with all them bodies. But they ain't supposed to kill them here, so I'm believing they ushered them through a Stargate somewhere.
Wow. You just taught me something new, because I did not even think about, you know, when you said pull up the flag and the similarities between the two. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. So go back to Barbados today. What's the political climate?
You have me on mute. Say it again.
Say it again. When you look at Barbados today, what's the political climate?
It's fairly calm. It's the first Commonwealth. It was a Commonwealth at one time, and it's the first Caribbean island, right, to step away from England and no longer be a Commonwealth of England. That's a huge deal. That island also always had one of the highest literacy rates, always had a good relationship with Cuba. A lot of the back and forth between that. But politically, for the most part, it's stable. That's an island where kids no longer have to pay. You know, at one time you had to pay for lunch, pay for school, pay for transportation, go back and forth. You ain't got to do that no more. But politically.
Now I'm gonna point something out, and it's the reason I asked you. Who's the head of state?
I don't even know. I forgot her name. It's a female.
Exactly. That's the point I was making.
Yeah, but she's a female.
Now, all of that stuff you just said, they finally declared their independence from England not too long ago.
Right, very recently.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And who was the president when that happened?
The prime minister. I don't remember. I've been here.
It's the same one that's in there now. It's a sister. She's going back to Big Mama rule, and that's why she didn't have any issue when she overthrew the government, because she was following the rights of indigenous people. She was exercising her rights.
Mia Mottley, Prime Minister Mia Mottley is her name.
Mm-hmm. And she exercising her rights as the tribal mother to step up into the forefront and say, we ain't finna do business with you people no more. Beat it.
That was a big deal.
They didn't send no ships or no bombs down there, did they?
No.
Because they took it out on Ukraine.
Yeah. Wow.
They took it out on Ukraine. Look, Ukraine is the people that was behind the scenes doing dirt that ran in World War II to Ukraine. They Ashkenazi. Drop the Ashka off, and what's the rest?
Right. Nazi.
Right. So they the same people that the European nations been trying to trap, but they didn't do nothing to them because they had a lock on the money. Because Big Mama Bank closed, the only thing you're gonna be able to use is fiat. You can't use real wealth until Big Mama Bank is back active. Now Barbados can have they fee-free education and feeding the children because Big Mama said so.
Right.
She don't gotta listen to Queen Lizard Bee no more.
Right. He ain't on a currency no more. Okay.
You did. So that tells you
very tiny island, and to do that, you know, that was a proud moment.
Look, Cuba broke free using the Three Kings conjure. The Three Kings conjure was to counteract the three ships, right? And the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Right. So you have to have a king to fight each ship, but each ship mean another part of the government. Right. So you got the social side of government, you got the infrastructure side of government, you got the financial side of government. Right. And you break it up into military, political, and economic stability. For political purposes, Camilo Cienfuegos was the politician. the banker would have been Castro and the military leader was Che Guevara. But when the CIA assassinated Camilo, they shot his plane down over the Atlantic. And that left Castro, he can either do two things. He can either appoint another political leader, but he had been doing most of the speaking. And most of the political behind the scenes dealings was being done by Camilo. So then when they did that, that gave them the genetic memory access to the people of the island to support them. Once they got the island support, it was over with for everybody that wasn't that didn't supposed to be there. And who was the first people they kicked out? They kicked out the United States, and because the United States came with the mafia. Go back to the Bay of Pigs, you'll see who all financed the Bay of Pigs. Half the mafia families in America spent millions of dollars on that, which Kennedy didn't want to support, which contributed to them signing on his death certificate. Kennedy ticked off a lot of people, but we don't know it. He did a speech called The Separation of Church and State. That was against the Pope and the Jesuits. Then he gave the conspiracy speech. That was against the mob. That was against the secret societies and the hidden hands. That once he got in office, he can read in the presidential book, and they telling each other when they come in what to look for. Right? So he already knew what he was dealing with. Then he took the mob off because he didn't honor none of the agreements the father made. In the mob, he ain't supposed to. He only supposed to honor what he supposed to do. He wanted to be the best president that America ever had, and the mob wanted to be the deadest president, and they working with the CIA, with the Mossad, right? They trying to get rid of him. He's trying to get the Jewish influence off the land. He's trying to get the secret societies gripped from off the government, and he had to go. So find out who John Colonial is.
I remember that. I don't see freedom. I know y'all remember that. The Nina the Pinta de Santa Maria. They made such a big deal of them three ships in schools and in the history books. Such a huge deal. I still remember that today. Yeah. Right?
It's crazy. Nina is 9, Pinta is 5, Santa Maria, St. Mary.
Yep. Dulcie Freedom, y'all have anything else? Or y'all want to start?
Yeah, what I was going to do, you took the words right out my mouth. I was going to ask Rod, do you mind taking a couple questions? Because I'm quite sure I see Rita. She's in here going in, whatever. I know people want to ask you questions, so I'm gonna drop the link and you tell me how you want to do this, so it'll be comfortable for you.
Yeah, it's just easier to keep up. You let somebody come on, ask their question, get the answer out, and then you can let them go down and pull up the next person.
Okay, y'all, I'm gonna drop the link. Y'all heard his rules, and please respect them. But there's the link, and I know that there's questions, so we want to ask you to come up and ask your question. And once you get your question, Lady Rita E, I dropped the link. You can hit the link. You can come up and ask a question. Anybody else that's interested, come in.
Hey, you from the city?
Name.
I'm from Pontiac, right outside Detroit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm from Detroit too, man. I'm from Detroit too. This King Cass, everybody.
Oh, Gorilla.
We knew.
No, I'm not about to. I want to shout him out because he from home. I'm Pan African, and I know a lot of people disagree with it, but I am gonna shout out Rod Hayes because he from the city. He from home. You know what I'm saying? And he shouted out Detroit Jit too. I seen the video, brother.
I just tell it like it is. You know what it is, that fancy footwork. That's all. That's the tribal tradition of the land. Everybody don't know about that fancy footwork if they ain't from the culture.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even know either, because a lot of people, when they think of techno, they usually think of some white folks, you know what I'm saying, doing some raves, but it actually started with Black people here in Detroit. A lot of people don't know that. Even our type of techno and house music sound different from when y'all hear at them raves with the white people and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny too, because you know house music started with Farley Jack Master Funk in Chicago.
Yeah. My cousin Derek May, he's one of the founders here of techno. So it was him, Wine Atkins with Clear and Cosmic Cars and stuff like that. But with that music, you know what I'm saying? They weren't just because a lot of people think, oh, it's just party music and all that, but it has a lot of deep spiritual elements to it. You know what I'm saying?
Kaz, do you have a question for Rod so we could drop you down once he answers it?
Nope, I'm just shouting a brother out. He from the city. I ain't coming up to this debate. Peace, Rod.
Peace, God. Peace.
Someone was asking the question. Did y'all want to go ahead
drop him down, Freedom? Drop him down, please.
I did. I think he dropped this. Oh no, I'm sorry. I dropped him down. Somebody was asking a question about the Indians speaking Arabic. You know anything about that? I'm kind of curious to that. That's the reason why I try to put up there, but I guess Dulcie took it down. But do you know anything?
Oh, I thought I accidentally put it up.
But okay.
If they did, they learned it from Mansa Musa.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But most of the a lot of the chiefs, not all of them, but a lot of them are linguists by nature. If they listen to somebody talking in the conversation, it won't take them long to learn that language. That's how Malachi can speak almost all the languages.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is true.
Welcome, Dean. How are you? You're on mute. You have to unmute.
Hello, I'm good, sis. How y'all doing?
How you doing?
Everyone all right?
Yes.
Good, man. You know, I just came in here to just spread my love and show some love, and you know, that's it, man. What up, Rod?
What's going on with you? What's the weather like up? What's the weather like up there in Canada?
You know, I'm like 4 hours away from you, Rod.
Okay, so it ain't much different.
It ain't much different, but I'm still, you know, I was just in my backyard with my feet on the ground, you know. So I don't know. I just always like we sitting here mindful, but I just want to touch base on like that what's going on in the cosmos, because spiritually, I've been feeling a little more in tune with myself on another level. So I see these solar flares, and I've done my research and kind of understanding what's going on. But when I look at it spiritually, the sun never did stuff like this before. You know what I mean? So,
well, first I gotta ask you, which sun is you looking at? Because there's more than one of them up there now.
There's readings coming in from other places that are not in the trajectory of our sun. So it's pushing on the back of us as where the sun is pushing at the front of us. There's so many other things that are pushing on us that the readings are not coming in. It's like they're not even reporting it properly.
You're absolutely correct. They're not reporting what's happening now because it only happens every so often. And the distance between it and it happening again is so far between that every time it happens, it set off these similar events. And then we get locked into the current paradigm and not realizing that this is a cycle. We are in a binary star system. Our secondary sun is returning. And what they told us was the eclipse on the 8th was not an eclipse. Right. And a lot of people don't they don't have the information that NASA be dripping out in code. Right. But when you go study Rhino 7 and you go study what's the other name for Planet X, they've been telling us for the past 70 years that there's a large body coming into the solar system. It got to be huge, and it had to have a very broad orbit in order to take 70 years to come into view. Right, but this was taking place. Will periodically cross in front of the sun and give the appearance of an eclipse, but it's not the moon. But they'll tell us it's the moon, and if we fall for it, that we supposed to believe it.
Yeah, it's not aligning. Basically,
and this is how
what I'm seeing.
The sun is sending us codes, telling us what's happening to wake us up. And the earth is responding to the sun via human resonance. And that's energy that's transferring between earth and the sun that's downloadable to somebody who developed their psychic abilities. Most of us have been taught when we start developing our psychic abilities that we was insane if we believed that. So we turned it off.
Yeah.
Right now, we're trying to turn the babies back on, let them have full access to their God powers within, their psychic senses.
Yeah.
You know, and all this is taking place in real time, but we got to finish the upgrading of women by the connecting of the matriarchs across the lands.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, these are the other things I want to talk, and like you're great at addressing these things, is like how we feel it as energy. It comes out as behavior or a pattern or something that is in our subconscious that maybe we need to retune or is bringing light. So it's like the more you get in tune with how it might come and it might look a certain way, but it's not the message it wants you to read. It's just because that's how it's communicating to you. And that's the way you read it.
When you get spiritual information, the spirit is going to communicate with you in the form that your psyche can digest the easiest.
Of course.
So in order for you to realize you're having a spiritual experience now.
There's an echo. Someone might have their YouTube page open. Please be careful that your YouTube page is not open at the same time you're on the StreamYard. That's why I apologize for interrupting you.
And they have to mute up. You have to mute up.
Yeah, everybody has to mute up when one person is talking. And Dean, when you get done your question, you'll have to go down.
Okay. Yeah, I will. No doubt. No doubt.
Thank you for coming up too.
Oh, no problem. Always a pleasure. Always thankful. Thank you.
Look, me and Dean will be on here for about 7 hours if you let us.
Yeah. I like our birthdays is the same. If we get here, we're up all day, man. It's man. I feel like I'm always talking to the bigger brother or the big cousin that I didn't have, you know? So you get certain people, you get lost in the time space. The time it's like it really stops. Yeah.
Look, it's a few people because of that. I be avoiding them because I know that I'd be caught too long and I won't be able to get to the next person. So I be trying to I know I can't talk to him right now because this conversation be 2 hours long in a 1 hour show.
Definitely.
Yeah, but there is a lot of spiritual information coming in. And a lot of individuals is feeling it, but they don't understand what they're feeling. But as time go on, it'll become self-evident that they awaken from a slumber because they'll start having past life regressive memories. And they'll be like, wait a minute, did I do that? Yeah, you did it. You just did it in a different life in a different time. You know, and then you got to remember you use as a frame of reference current events in order to rationalize what you remembering from a time that's gone by.
Yeah.
So that helps people a lot to put the spiritual information into a digestible context when they realize they're using modern concepts to translate a past life when they have the images come to them. Because they got to be able to learn their own higher language. That's why I always tell people, learn the art and science of self-talk. Because once you learn your higher language and how you communicate with yourself, you will know if it's a rogue energy giving you misinformation to act upon, or if it's your higher self correctly guiding you. But you have to learn your own higher language, and everybody got their own that's different. You know, but all of that is critical at this time to understand that you're getting a lot of spiritual information coming in the form of solar flashes and solar flares, and keep an eye on the interaction between the earth and the sun, and you can see them communicating